Hey, what's up? This is Dilio, and in this video, we're going to be talking about some real life stuff. Tutorials are cool, but I think that as far as me teaching and sharing and helping others, I think it's important to also talk about life things too as well. And but before I do that, and I meant to do this video a while ago, is that I want to just say thank you for all those who've been subscribing to the channel. The channel crossed 75,000 subscribers not too long ago. It's been a slow process, and I just want to take a moment to thank all the subscribers for that and for just continuing to check out the content because it's been a long process. So I'll let you know right now ahead of time. This may be a lengthy video. There will be no jump cuts, no editing like that. I'm going to use my platform to hopefully say some things that can help somebody else. I got emails from different people who view me who have been dealing with challenges and friends who also have talked about different challenges, even myself have been talking about different challenges. And even though I've been making videos like forever, it's still not an easy process. You still have a moment of getting yourself together. And I'm going to talk about where I think maybe that can come from. And but the first thing is that I want to talk about is just gratitude, and I'm grateful for all those who come. I'm grateful for those, and there was a time where I would sort of be upset that those who would comment on the videos or those who would look at the videos wouldn't say anything. So if you're a type of person that just likes to watch and don't say anything, thank you. I'm glad you're here. I don't know who you are because I don't see your comments. And that's not me asking you to comment. You're free to do whatever you like. But I just want to say thank you. And to those who do comment and encourage me, thank you so much. Those who do show support, who come to this platform, who listen to my music, stream my music, thank you so much. Those who buy beats from me, thank you so much. And there's so much, a lot of good stuff there. And then, but what happens is, and now I'm about to get into what I'm talking about, sometimes a lot of bad things can happen that takes your mind off of the good small victories. And so I wrote a list of some different things like guilt, shame, pain, loss of confidence, jealousy, behavior, comparison, imitating negative outlook and behavior of others, and your possessions versus others. As a music creative or as a creative person, because as a creative person, sometimes you can be the odd one out. You can be different, or you can be judged for being different. So much so that you may start to feel like you're abnormal and you're out of place because you are the only one in this pursuit. You're the only one pursuing a dream. So sometimes, because the actions of others who may have had open access to you, you'll start to doubt that. And I think it's important to be aware of it. And sometimes you may not be aware of it. Sometimes wrong can turn into normal. What I mean is that if you're in a situation where you're dealing with another human being, and you're not, like, as a child coming up, like if you're in a situation, you're a child coming up, and you don't really have a choice as to how much access they have to you, or you don't know what to put up your guard up for. You don't really know what's wrong. You just sort of accept everything as is. Like there is times for me where I will be pursuing or trying to get to know another person, a girl, right? But but the things that she was doing was directly against what she was saying. And what happens is that I didn't know that the difficulty of cooperation, or just the difficult it was to give. I thought that was normal. I thought guys, we're supposed to work our way and earn our way and fight, for that. And I thought that the dysfunctional situation there was normal, right? And so what happens is, a lot of times, especially when it comes to people who have been in our lives for a long time, wrong, you don't know what's wrong. It's wrong because no one's there to tell you. And then oftentimes there will be times where you speak up about this stuff, and the people who you trust to talk to you about it will just tell you to brush it off. Don't let this, don't. But we don't get to the root of the problem. And so what happens It's wrong turns into normal. Broken turns into normal. Broken things aren't normal. Broken things are broken. Toxic behaviors are not normal, but when you get used to them, you run into problems. And so you have to be careful about who you deal with in this music industry or in your personal life, because sometimes there's a one of the manipulative and abusive thing you can do. And I'm not going to say I ever did it, but I do know when I don't like it done to me is the guilt thing. You don't believe what I believe, something's wrong with you. You don't think we should handle it like this way? Something's wrong with you. You're a bad person. I'm going to be less nice to you because you don't believe what I believe. So therefore, I'm going to try to find ways. And it's hard for me to figure out even an example of how I make someone feel good. Oh, you don't care because you don't listen to my music. Now, that's a guilt tactic right there. So let's talk about that. So, for me, and in my head, and I have to ask myself, where did some of this stuff come from? Did I learn this on my own? Where is this? Or did I see somebody exhibit the same behavior and saw it make sense for them, and now it makes sense for me? So, for example, as a creator, coming up, it's like, okay, you don't listen to my music. You don't care about what I think. Now, that could be the internal dialogue, but the guilt tripping is where I approach the person and say, how come you don't listen to my music? What's wrong with you? You don't care about my music? You don't like my posts? You don't like my videos? You don't share? You as a creator, don't you deal with this? Yeah. You don't even comment on my stuff. You share other people's stuff with me that they do. But when I create something, now I'll be the first to tell you that I don't like that reality. I don't like that happens. But it's abusive of me to come to that person to try and push them to like my stuff. It's abusive of me to say to them, well, I guess you don't, But there's also the other side of that coin, because the silence can be impressed upon you about your own content. What I mean by that. So there are people who have open access to you, right? There are some people, like, for instance, like when you go out to a club or to a studio or when you go on the street, those people at work don't have open access to you. They can't call you anytime. Emotionally, you have a shield up, but then there are those who have open line of access to you. That no matter what they've done in the past, he had open access to you. But sometimes they can exhibit behaviors to you to where you question yourself. So if someone says, well, you're letting something go to hell, right? You're letting something go to hell because you're not caring about it the same way I do. So you're doing something wrong. Now, at first it's like, no, that's not right. But if you keep that message going, next thing you know, it's like, well, dang, maybe I am messing up. Maybe I am doing something. And then it turns into where you feel like you have to do something to make that person happy. Have you ever had someone in your life where it felt like nothing really you did was good enough? No song you could create, nothing you could buy, nothing really you could say, or no person who you could become be good enough. Now, it's easy to not care about that when it's someone who doesn't have an open access line to your spirit. But it's different when someone has an open access line to your spirit that you've had since childhood, right? And so now you're dealing with guilt and shame being pressed upon you. But here's the kicker. When guilt and shame is pressed upon you, now you reflect back out guilt and shame to others. Now, what I mean by that, because like I said before, sometimes, and you could agree to this and listen to me on this if you can. Sometimes you can output what you receive or imitate. So if someone talks to you about other people in a negative way, after a while you'll start talking to people about other people in a negative way. If someone puts game and shame on you all the time, then what happens is, especially with someone who has open access to your spirit, you'll then start having shame and guilt towards yourself. And then you're like, wait a minute, where did this come from? And you don't even know it, that it is you reflecting out what you received in, to your spirit, to your being. And now your outlook is colored, and now it's bad and it's negative because of how they came at you. And then now you're being this way towards others more subtly than what was done to you, and you don't know where the behavior came from. So the point is, I'm trying to make is that sometimes we can imitate behaviors that are exhibited in our lives that negative happen to us, and then we do it to others. So in other words, the abused can become the abuser. And so also, when people are not confident about themselves, and I don't know if you're like this or anything like that, sometimes when you're a creative person and you don't get accolades from those who you care about the most, it affects your confidence. Or if you haven't achieved a certain thing by a certain age or grown a YouTube channel by a certain time, you lose confidence. And a lot of times lost confidence comes from not having the right outlook on yourself and on a situation. Sometimes when you have someone who has open access to you not exhibit interest or encouragement about what you're doing, you have a loss of confidence. And then but here's the thing though, people who have issues like that probably don't have much confidence themselves. Probably has a lot of issues about themselves, a lot of things they don't like about themselves. And what happens, and I know this for a fact because I've been that way too. What happens is that once you have this big plate of stuff you don't like about yourself and you've been internalizing this, been stirring in your pot, you then project that out to others. And then if it's somebody who you have a uninterrupted line of access to, you then start to act unconfident. You start to act fearful. You start to reflect. You start to become a mirror of lack of confidence. And then now you're like, well, geez, yes, you might have a lot of past negative experiences that you can learn from that can affect your confidence. But what about those who are closest to you who lack confidence and projects it on you? Now you feel lack of confidence, or you're not really getting their approval. So now you lack even more confidence. Now you lack confidence in yourself to go execute the dreams and the things that you need to create and do. Right? You lack that. You lack that confidence. You lack that self-confidence, that and you just start reflecting things that are shown, that are projected upon you. It's like everybody's a projector screen, especially to those who have open access to you. Open access. I'm not talking about people who you know in the street, because like I said, you can go to the club and you know you're in the club, and you're not going to just let everybody have open access to you. But it's about the ones that you have given open access to by default that you have to watch out the most for. So now we got these behaviors that come into jealousy. Like, I know a lot of people deal with jealousy. I deal with jealousy myself, which probably is a form of narcissism if I can think about it. Because now we're talking about being upset about the possessions of others, right? I'm jealous that he's went to 200,000 subscribers. I'm jealous that he has that car. I should have that car. All his career, that's theirs. And a lot of times we make the mistake of getting mad about things that don't belong to us. Why do we do that? Where did that come from? How did we learn that? Did we learn that? Did we come out the womb really thinking that way? Or did we see that from someone who has open access to us? Remember, open access. Did we see that from someone who has open access to us? Like you got people that just like to put other people down just for fun, for laughs. You ever notice people like that? They just, like, I get it, and I do it in a way. How do I put it? Because I don't really put it down like I'm saying, oh man, you got a bunch of money, man. No, I ain't got no money. That's a balance. That's a line I work. But I'm not going to say, oh, you're a greedy prick because you have a bunch of money. That's the difference there. And you really have to know a person well to know if it's a joke or not. But sometimes the abuse can go on for so long, you just think it's normal, and now you're just dealing with damage, and you don't even know that you're being damaged, and it's like normal. Wrong becomes normal. So where does this jealousy thing come from? Where all this jealous thoughts and comparison? How did we learn to compare? How did we learn? When did it become the default in our mind to just compare ourselves to others who are further along, who have more, who can do this better, who can that better? Where does that come from? Could it be that someone who had open access to you exhibited the same behaviors, and because you don't have a default of your own, you just imitate what you saw because you didn't know if it was right or wrong. You just did it, and then it became a part of you. And now you're jealous, and now you're comparing yourself to others by default. And sometimes over the last few years, like I'm like, yo, I'm not doing this. I'm not comparing myself. I'm not comparing myself right now. I'm not doing that. Why am I comparing? That doesn't, why, I checked that. Don't you ever wonder why certain things in your head, like, where did that come from? Why do I think that way? And I like to say that maybe some of those things come from people who have open access to you, who acted that way towards you for so long, so much so that it left a print on you, and now that's your programming. It's like it's been coded into your mind frame over and over again. Now it's your programming. Right? So the truth is, no matter, at the end of the day, because it is before work, but I wanted to do this and then hopefully encourage somebody, is that, you don't have to be jealous. You don't have to be unconfident in your ability. Don't be intimidated by new things. Identify toxic behaviors, call them out, walk away from those who are toxic towards you or abusive towards you. Separate yourself from that, because wrong is not normal. Abuse is not normal. You don't have to be perfect, but when you you don't have to be all those things. You can stop the cycle. You can cut the chain. If someone exhibits to you behaviors that show that you're not wanted or valued, then don't be around. Take away that open access and don't give it back until that person can truly exhibit different behaviors, and that person may never will. Same thing as a creative person. You can create things, and your voice. Don't think your voice is bad because it doesn't sound like somebody who you appreciate. And I deal with that as well. Like, I can't sing as good as like B Slade. I think B Slade is the best vocalist alive. And somewhere along the line, I learned to like my voice less because it doesn't sound like a Genuine or a Tank or a B Slade or a Tyrese. But then sometimes I have glimmers of light that says, "Oh, my voice is straight. It's enough. It's enough." We have to go from, and I don't know where these thoughts come from when we're not enough, but somewhere along the lane we get that projected on us and we get that printed on us. But I just want to say to you today that whatever you're creating, when you're doing beats, you're singing, writing, or creating, whatever you do, whether friends, fans, or family approve it or not, it's enough. Don't let it not being your full-time career tell you that it's not enough or it's no value to it. And don't feel like you're the odd one out because you're the only one that's into this. Maybe it's them that's not normal, or maybe you're more normal than you think. Maybe you're more functional than you think. Maybe you're more grateful and appreciative of who you become than you think. Because I can remember a time when the seeking of approval of certain individuals mattered so much so that it was damaging to me, right? And it was until I learned to no longer seek that and to no longer try to do things that were detrimental to me to make others happy, was when I learned to live better. So, just a word of encouragement. I know it's a 20-minute video. I'm not even going to justify that. Those who watched this all the way through, thank you so much. And this is just some thoughts of encouragement, just to be encouraged. I'm just speaking from the heart. And I hope that you guys have a great weekend. The final remake that I filmed from that long series of remakes will be out today at 3 p.m. And hopefully I'll be back on my feet. So with that being said, I'll see y'all later. Peace out.